Good evening, Warriors, and welcome into another edition of the R&R Sports Report. My name is Randy Isbell. With me, as always, Mr. Robert Hagan. Robert, NAI is done. School is out. I don't know what to do with myself, and my body doesn't know either, as I've done compared to what I was doing the last couple weeks, I have done absolutely nothing, and my body hates it. I'm tired all the time, and I'm grumpy. How are you?
Well, for you, school might be out. For me, no, not so much. Summer school started yesterday. Uh, wasn't able to go today, but we'll be back in tomorrow. But uh, at least for me, things didn't slow down this past weekend. We'll talk about that here in a couple minutes. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm ready to slow things down just a smidge. Bowling tournament this weekend. Trying to get in a couple of games of the Banana Belt. So hopefully get that in the next week or so. But hoping to slow things down here in about 3 weeks as soon as summer school's over.
There you go. Yeah, I'm hoping to get back out on the lanes. I have bowled 3 games since I went to nationals. I have all these things I'm supposed to work on when I met with that coach. Have not worked on any of them because I just have not picked up anything. But this summer, Chase and I will probably spend some time together and go bowl a little bit and see how things are going. But right now, just kind of hitting the reset button on everything. Still
Mm-hmm.
doing some articles and stuff. I have another article coming out tomorrow for the Tribune, and then a football schedule preview that's supposed to come out Saturday, I think. I was trying to remember if it was Friday or Saturday when it was due, but it was very cool to start seeing some of these high school football schedules coming out. I'm disappointed that the Lewis and Clarkson game lands perfectly on the first weekend that the LC volleyball team is at home. So I
Mm-hmm.
won't be able to attend that, but we will see what this football season comes up, and it's getting really close. Like we were talking about, all right, we get through the NEIA and this last little bit before summer, and then we get a break, and then you snap your fingers, and it's fall, and it's right back to go time.
Yeah, 100%. I was sharing with our buddy Jamin Stamper Clarkson's schedule. Five, I think it's five of the first six. Clarkson's at home, and then we hit the road a lot
Mhm.
over the next um, the end of the season. And like you said, I mean, you blink of an eye, and things are over. I think we shared a couple weeks ago. I did take a position with a little bit more responsibility in the football program. So I
Mhm.
will be head coaching the seventh grade football team, and so tomorrow have assistant interviews. So it is going to be crazy, but yeah, I'm excited to see football back here in the valley. But it's like, man, where did the time go? And it's already back into
Right.
so.
So tell us about this soccer tournament you helped with this weekend.
So, friend of the show, Sean Pullman, the LCSC
Mhm.
volleyball coach, also does some stuff with the I have it Hell's Canyon Rapids soccer team, football team. They call it football. They had their Soccer Storm 2022, their 3-on-3 tournament. Oh my lord, dude. I mean, the weather held off. It was supposed to rain the entire time on Saturday, held off. But to see probably close, I was working with a gentleman there from Cover Me Tees, and we were working up on the track and to look across the two lower fields and see all the nets set up, and then above us with the competition, skills competition going on easily, if not more than 600 total people there, um, all over the place. I mean, kids of all ages, starting around 5 and 6 year olds, going up to they had adult co-ed stuff going on. I watched the Clarkson girls soccer team threw together a 5-person team led by Sierra Newhouse and Eloise Teasley, and that group, and so they ended up winning their division over Moscow, their final game. But to see as many people out for a soccer tournament just blew my mind. And hats off to the entire staff. I mean, there was a lot of people from President Dan Rudolph, Jesse Clark, Sonny Haynes, Beth Katzenberger, Megan Pullman, Sean's wife, the Newhouse family, and all of these folks that participated. It was a tournament that was unbelievable, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with this. But it was a great time. Wind picked up at the very end. Things started getting a little nasty at the very end, but it was fun. Lots of sponsors going around, and so had a great time.
So with that many people showing up, and Walker Field's awesome because you have the hill and you can sit down and watch. But where in the world are you supposed to park there?
Well, and
As somebody that has grew up in that area and played many pickup games around the Walker Field area, back when there was a baseball field there, there's nowhere to park.
Well, see, and I parked down. I can't remember the 6th Avenue or 6th Street, the one that goes east and west off of the northeast corner. I parked like 2 blocks down that road. They were all the way up past that way. They did end up having some owners of back in that farmland area just west of Walker Field come up and threatened to have us have some of those cars towed. Next thing you know, there was probably about 40 or 50 cars moving out of the way. But there wasn't a place to park anywhere.
No.
And that was the conversation Jesse and I were having. It's like, okay, if we're going to keep growing here with the soccer programs, and which they are, it's just crazy to see games even on the weekend. What about buying that property on the south side of Walker Field and make a decent sized parking lot? Eventually something like that's going to have to happen, or maybe they have to buy some of that farming land. It'll be interesting to see. I know Haley made the comment her drive to work was quite difficult there on Saturday.
There's got to be places to be able to do it. Obviously, Walker Field is great. There's a lot of space there, but just no space to park. There's got to be some places where you can find some open field. And Bengal Field was probably open. You could have turned that into a bunch of fields, or Vollmer Bowl as a whole open area. There's a lot of parking lots right around that area.
Well, and that's the thing. Eventually, for work on Friday, we had the opportunity as Clarkson School District employees to go over and look at Lewiston High School and see where their next phase is going to happen, and that is the athletic phase, and where they're going to put in all those extra fields. And then in that same breath, hopefully, whether it's November or whether it's February, cross your fingers, Clarkson's going to put the bond back up on for a high school and fields and all that. That's still a few years away, but even trying to set up fields there up at Lincoln, I mean, we could have easily probably put, easily the same amount of fields at Lincoln on our field and there. So it's going to be something that they're going to have to revisit here very, very soon.
Yeah, either way, it's really nice to see how many people showed up for those soccer events. There's always the joke about soccer is never going to be popular in America. It is. It's just not mainstream. But there's a lot of people out there that very much enjoy the sport, and I think an event like that definitely shows that you can do it. And it's really easy. Soccer is one of those sports you can just get a couple friends. It doesn't have to be a full group or a full setup to play a game of soccer. It's the same with basketball. Baseball is a bit different. I mean, you don't need 18 people to play baseball, but you're going to need a few, and you're going to need a specific area. There's ways to, I mean, when I grew up, there was interesting places that we played pickup baseball, but soccer is one of those really easy ones where it could just be 2 of you and you can get a game going pretty easily.
Yeah, and listen, I played soccer till I believe I was like 8 years old, somewhere in there, and it was just kind of a pickup game. But hey, hats off to what Clarkson boys did this year. They played shorthanded all season long.
Yes.
They made it happen to just try to get a season in. So anything's possible. But to see what these two, which happen to be 2 older football, and we say football because that's what it's called in other countries, but soccer groups come together to make this Hell's Canyon group work, and so it's a lot of players out there, and you even saw past players. A friend of the, Clarkson Bantam Senior that just graduated, Erica Pickett was actually an official. She was there running around doing work as an official. A lot of young officials out there wearing the yellow, and
Hey, can we get
so
any of those officials on any of the other sports as well, please?
yeah, that would be nice to see.
Please. It's still a fantastic event, and it was very awesome to see how many people went to it. On today's show, we're going to talk a lot about Major League Baseball because that's just kind of the season we're in. Yes, we will mention the NBA Finals. I did watch a good chunk of the last 3 games that were played. I can't say that I have been fully locked in and invested, but especially the last 2 games, I was working at the Tribune and had it on my side monitor. So it was
I,
viewed a little bit.
I watched the last 9 minutes of yesterday's game, so I mean, to see that. So
It's an improvement. It's an
yes,
improvement by us. NHL Stanley Cup starts on Wednesday. I will do my best to tune in to those games as well, but we're baseball fans. It's baseball and football mostly on this show. It's baseball season. We're going to really get into that. We will get into some NFL news, some AFL stuff. My team still sucks. It's whatever. Very cool moment in NASCAR that we will get to, some good bowling stuff, all the drama in the PGA and golf in general, and so much more. But let's go back to the local stuff first. There was a big announcement that came down. Was it last week? Or I forget even what day it was. Earlier this
Friday.
week,
I want to say it was
late last week.
Friday. I want to say it was Friday.
A shot clock in Idaho. Thank God. I have been begging for this forever, especially since you and I started doing play-by-play. I mean, we both started obviously with Clarkson, and that's where you're still at. So we didn't do a lot of Idaho games, but I switched over and I was full-time Lewiston this year. And man, no shot clock is horrendous. It just drags out, especially with the coaches that understand how to work a clock, and possessions can go 2 minutes. I got tired of saying 50 passes before a missed shot, and then everyone would go down and we'd do it again. It is so needed. So it could be used as early as next season, but obviously it's going to cost money for these schools to not only put in these shot clocks and get the technology, but then you have to bring in somebody that can run it in all of the games. So I understand that it's going to be a slow build. I expect to see it in like the 4A, 5A schools. We will see about the 1A, 2A, the Lapways and everywhere there. Obviously, I think Lapway does not care because they put it up so fast that the shot clock's not even needed for the Wildcats, but some of the other schools for sure. But that was one of the best pieces of news I've gotten all week.
Dude, I wanted to do cart flips when I saw the article come out.
How's a cart flip?
Cartwheel, cart flip. I'm going to backflip. I'm going to do it all because I was so excited. And I think it was, if I want to make sure, I think it was our buddy, Zach Eastman, that posted the article from the Tribune. And I thought maybe you had an inside scoop on it because you normally will give me a little tidbit if something's going to happen. But to see this come from Zach, and unbelievable to see it happen. You and I have called lots of games for Moscow, Clarkson versus Moscow up there. The same with Lewiston. We've done our fair share filling in for Lewiston or for myself. I even had the opportunity to do a Prairie High School game with Grangeville and to watch them run 4 corners the final 4 minutes of a game drove me absolutely crazy. All they did was pass from corner to corner to corner, from one way all the way around. And so to know that they're going to have a 30 to 35 second shot clock, it's just going to make the game even better. Like you said, though, Lewiston is used to playing shot clocks with them playing Pullman and playing Clarkson. So, I mean, they've adapted to it. It'll be weird to see how, like you said, Moscow start playing that way, Grangeville start playing that way. And with those, I don't see a big
Mhm.
issue. But I'm like you. I think 5A is going to be the first one in. They're going to be all in with those bigger school, a little bit more money, but I don't see. I see Grangeville and Prairie being, and maybe Deary, some of those last schools in our
Mhm.
area to come in with those. But there is like you said, you hit it hard on the head. There is a lot to pay attention when you run a shot clock. I mean, and we're gonna say um, Kay Anderson, because Kay does it at the high school. It is a big thing to be able to stay and in the moment, watching what's going on, and when do you reset it? When you don't reset it,
Mhm.
you know, make sure you don't get trigger fingers. So,
Very interesting. Taco comes in with a very interesting question. He says he's not saying he agrees or disagrees, but in that Grangeville game, did it not give the lesser team a chance to win because they were not forced to shoot? I don't care about giving a lesser team a better chance or not. It's an entertainment thing, and as Taco knows, as doing play by play, it's impossible for me to be entertaining calling 75 passes in a row. And and honestly, I think they're going to have just as much of a chance. I mean,
mhm,
'cause it could go the exact same way. You could have a team. Grangeville did a great job in that Avista tournament of slowing the clock down
mhm.
and going at their pace. And it really not only kept the amount of shots down, it just changed the pace up enough where their opponents really kind of struggled to stay with it. But it could go the exact opposite, and a bigger school can slow things down when a team really gets on a run. So it worked out great for Grangeville, but I was surprised it didn't. I mean, it wouldn't have gotten Lapway in trouble just because they're so good and they're used to having no shot clock. But
And see the game.
I think they had a shot clock in that tournament too, but it's
And the
we need it. We need it.
Yeah, and the game that sticks out in my mind, it was doing their. It's kind of like the Golden Throne for up on the Prairie versus Grangeville,
Mhm.
and Prairie was up by 8 points going in with like 3 minutes left. I mean, still could have been with a shot clock. There's still a possibility you come back and win that. But when you spread it out the floor and you start having to think about fouling at 3 minutes instead of
Oh,
the
that's the
last
worst.
minute, that's the big difference. That's where I'm at with it.
Mhm.
If you want to stretch the clock as long as you want, put up a shot, try to get in there, get the rebound. That's fine. But let's put a little bit of a flow to it. With a shot clock, you're going to get a flow. And a lot of these players need that. A lot of these
Mhm.
players, not except for Lapway, they're going to score wherever,
Yeah,
whenever they want.
they're not. I, I
Titus,
guarantee you there will be no shot clock violations on the Wildcats for years.
yeah,
I want to see that stat. It's not going to happen because they don't take that long. But no, I think your last point was fantastic and something that has always bugged me, and I it hadn't hit the top of my mind, but the strategy late in the game completely changes. I don't know how many times that Lewiston would be down by 4 or 5 points with 4 minutes to go, and they would already go into foul mode because
mhm.
they knew that, especially against Coeur d'Alene, who was
I,
fantastic
I was going to
at
remind you of
dragging
that.
that out.
I was going to remind you of
Um,
that game because I watched you call that game. I had it on NFHS and was watching you, and I had
yeah,
your radio
just
and.
3 men right at the half court line, just back and forth and
Mhm.
back and forth and back and forth, and it's like either foul us or not. They're very good with the basketball, and it just drives you nuts. So, yeah, I think this is great for Lewiston. You come in with a new head coach in Brooks Malm, who comes in from California, obviously
Mhm.
state with the shot clock, so he doesn't have to change his strategy around, and I think it's going to be good all around. But it does bring me to a fun little topic that I threw together yesterday trying to fill space for this thing. It just points out the best innovations in sports. The shot clock changed the way basketball was played, but did the shot clock change the way the game was played more than the 3 point line did?
Hmm. I would think that they did. I think they'd have to because of the whole idea of, you know, getting some of these shooters to, you know, get out of the press and being always having to drive the ball down into the paint or take those mid-range shots. You learn to shoot the ball a little
Mhm.
bit farther out. You're going to be rewarded for it. As much as you and I talk about the NBA stuff now. I mean, with the no defense and,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to spread the offense and I'm going to take you one-on-one the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll talk about it here in a little bit. The last foul on Draymond Green last night, didn't look too much like a foul, but I think it does change a lot of the gameplay to be able to have those guys to shoot
Yeah,
and
I
be
think the shot
rewarded.
clock. I think the shot clock had a more immediate impact on the game, but 3-point line, especially over the last 10 years or so, with what Golden State's been able to do, has really changed things up. Some other gameplay innovations that I just put out here: designated hitter in baseball. Obviously, the American League started with it. This is the first year that both the American League and National League both have it. I like that Bryce Harper was 100% opposed to it and now absolutely loves it as he is understanding that, hey, I could be the designated hitter every so often. I'll still get my bats in and I can take a day off from the field.
Mhm.
How about fewer on the ice and shootouts in the NHL during the regular season where they were trying to figure out how to not have ties but not have teams have 74 overtimes like they do in the playoffs. And the playoffs is fantastic. So they just took guys off the ice. We went 4-on-4 or 3-on-3. I think the Olympics are 3-on-3. It's like, all right, let's go. And if that doesn't work, we'll get a shootout. It's a little interesting. And one that I go back and forth whether I like or not, the green, white checkered in NASCAR. So you're not ending the race under yellow, but it seems like every race now has some silly caution with 6 to go, and we always end a green, white checkered. And it's just get yourself in a position to possibly win the race and win the 2-lap shootout, which drives me absolutely nuts. But I think the biggest one, and I don't know if you're going to agree or disagree, but the biggest gameplay innovation in sports history was allowing people to throw the ball forward in football. When football first got created, I'm talking the American football, not
Mhm.
the soccer stuff. When that was first created, you couldn't throw the ball forward. And I think allowing them to do that has made football very popular. Could you imagine it'd just be like rugby right now if they didn't make that change? I don't think football would ever have been as popular as any of these other sports right now.
Yeah, I think you're 100%. I mean, if we don't have that in there, we're still looking at wishbone blocking formations. Some of these ones that like Navy likes to run. I mean, can you imagine seeing all of those formations all the time?
Listen, I
If
will
I
never
was
watch a Navy Georgia Tech game in my life because they throw it 3 times.
the one that if you want to tie things in a little bit more, and this is me just speaking out. Now, hear me
Yep,
say this as it's
bring
just
it.
if they could keep doing, and having the forward pass, I love it. I love seeing a receiver go in motion. But how about the NFL adopting what the CFL does and let them move forward? Let the receivers move forward,
Oh
get a
yeah, yeah.
running start.
The
Arena
arena
football
ball.
and the
Yeah.
arena ball. Watching the Spokane shock play. I'm sad that they're not in again, and all that went down with Sam Adams. But listen, that would be a total game
As
changer too.
fun
Especially you have
as
a Tyreek Hill running the
that's
ball or
yep.
somebody like that. Give him 5-second head start, man.
No,
See ya.
that's exactly why that rule would never work because Tyreek Hill would just blow everybody up. You give that man a head start on anybody. Listen, the Jets have to play Tyreek Hill twice. All right, we don't need him getting a head start. Period.
Listen, the other one I want to chime in with, and you said green white checker for NASCAR. Yeah, I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying this, but doggone it, take those restrictor plates back off.
No,
If you've got a great mechanic that can get your engine to give you more horsepower, so be it. Let that guy win.
The restrictor plate is not for the horsepower thing. The restrictor plate was put in because they were going too damn fast. They were going like 215 miles an hour and dying. There were multiple deaths in the early 90s.
Listen,
So
you got a funny car that's going 325 miles. They can adapt.
Yeah, but they don't have to turn. They don't have to turn. They don't have to pass each other. That's completely different. and as far as it's a stock car. It's you're supposed to be the best driver out there. We get some other comments here. As Tacos talked about, yeah, they used to have a jump ball after every basket in basketball. That would drive me absolutely insane. And what Denny Grubb sent a book, so I haven't read this yet. If you want to go back real far, back in Robert's days, oh yeah, the old peach baskets and the ladder. There you go. Back
Hey,
in my grandpa's day.
listen, how many years, and you have it in our notes, and you put computerized scoring for bowling. But listen,
Yeah.
how about the kids that had to sit in the back and spot pins?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't do that, but I did the manual scoring.
Oh,
I made
yeah,
a lot of money. I made some good change for a 14-year-old kid at Imperial Bowl. I'll
Mhm.
tell you what. When you're just a wee lad surrounded by 70-year-old women, you end up getting some notice when you're keeping track of scores correctly. And
Well,
I
you
made some
know,
good money, and I was taught some bad tips from some of the bowlers when I was growing up, as far as making the money. Some
well,
good ones too, but
and the thing is too, and we talked about it. In 1965 is when the Kingpin lanes moved from downtown Clarkson to where Lancer Lanes is now. And, that was the first set of brand new lanes that were coming into this area, which was automatic, and they were setting their own pins. So think about all those kids that set at Kingpin, and this was well before my time. So don't even try to date me there. But to see the kids, and just to look at pictures and old videos of kids that were having to get down, jump in, and spot pins or clearing out pins. There are still some lanes in the Midwest that have kids setting up pins just for keeping nostalgia. So I mean that's a huge one too.
I love it. Some ones I put on there, technology based. You talked about the computerized scoring
Mm-hmm.
in bowling. I like the above the net camera in hockey. I think that's really changed the way you can see whether that puck goes in or not, especially with the whole replay system. Go even further with that, the photo finishes and horse racing. I think that has become a big thing. The headset in football has sped that game up a lot. I mean, there's a big difference between having to send a player out there every single play. Do you guys have to do that in 7th grade football, or do you have headsets?
So no, we're not allowed to wear headsets, but that's one thing I plan on doing a little bit changing this year. And it's not that I disagree, but you have a quarterback that runs back and forth from sideline to get the play every time. It's a little frustrating. So
Are you guys gonna do the college thing with the big giant signs and
No,
put
probably
faces of people? No, you got to do it.
no.
Put Shannon Wilson's face, and that means option play. Have one of your assistants doing all the weird hand motion. It'd be great. That's what I think you guys need to implement. The kids would love it.
It'd be
And
something.
then the last thing
different.
that I put on here was the Cyclops or Hawkeye tracking in tennis. I think that has completely changed the way that sport is played, where we used to have all these arguments, and now it's only arguments when the human interferes and changes the ruling of a Hawkeye or whatever. I still think they need to put that technology in the footballs so they can place the football correctly. But that's
I think that's it. We're going to end up coming that way. First, I'd like to see that though, the CFL moving their motion stuff into the NFL.
No, Tyreek Hill would destroy the league. All right. So now I got Denny Grubb in the chat. I got my mom in the chat. I got Mike Taco in the chat. I feel like I have a chance here. I needed the help of Zach last week because you completely blew me away with it because you always go with people before I was born. But for anybody that's not been around the last 2 weeks, Robert has added a new segment called Who Am I? Last week we changed it up where we will do it throughout the show. So this is part 1. You give me a couple of notes and we try to figure out who Robert Hagan is talking about.
All right. So this week, a little bit harder as we've talked about how it's based and all that. I haven't even started yet.
Go ahead.
Wait, your Yankees. What happened to your Yankees? Something had to have happened.
Nothing happened to my Yankees. You just said something's harder. And I've had issues with this the last 2 weeks. And it's harder. Cool. Thanks. Appreciate it.
I'll try to make it as easy as possible, but you probably won't get it until the third segment. But we'll go. All right. I was born in San Francisco, California, the fourth of 5 children. My father was a sports broadcaster in the San Francisco area. I was also a ball boy for the 49ers while I was growing up. That's all you get right now. So to Mr. Tatko, Mr. Grubb, no chiming in yet. We got to make Randy at least
he's chiming in.
No, we got to make.
I swear I've heard this story now before. Like things are trying to work. It takes a little bit. But
again, one more time. I was born in San Francisco, California. I'm the fourth of 5 children. My father was a broadcaster in San Francisco area, and I was a ball boy for the 49ers while I was growing up. That is your first part of Who Am I this week.
I will hold off for now as I try to pull up the scores. Hate that MLB has changed the way they put their scores on the thing, and it's hard to read. Let's go this way.
Just got to go back to ESPN and do it that way with your scores, right?
Yeah, I'm headed that way right now. So, your MLB scoreboard right now, the Cardinals and Pirates are in a doubleheader. The Cardinals won the first one 3-1, and they're up 7-1 right now in the bottom of the 6th in that second game. Going on right now, the Braves looking for win number 13. They leave the Nationals 9-4. Phillies over the Marlins 8-4. Yankees over the Rays 2-0. That one's in the bottom of the 7th inning. Denny Grubb's Baltimore Orioles lead the Toronto Blue Jays 6-4. Keep that up, Denny. Bottom of the 7th inning there. White Sox over the Tigers in the 7th, 5-1. Mets are blanking the Brewers 4-0 in the 8th. Red Sox are blanking the Athletics 6-0 in the bottom of the 7th inning. More blankings. All of these are blanks. Rangers blanking the Astros 3-0 in the 5th. Cubs over the Padres 4-0 in the bottom of the 5th. Guardians over the Rockies 2-0 in the 3rd. And still to get started, Reds and Diamondbacks, Royals, Giants, Angels, Dodgers, and the Twins looking to beat the Mariners again.
Listen, I'm laughing at you typed in our notes. You added in information about the Who Am I? Is that just for you to go back?
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember. I did that last week. It's because I'm not going to remember. What the hell just happened in the Yankee game? That ball, I think, bounced off the pitcher. Interesting. I looked over, the ball was going off. All right, so we were talking about rules, right? We're talking about innovations and rules. I have a rule idea that I want to bring across as we get into the MLB talk.
Okay.
Can we have a mercy rule? I did. I even said keep it up. Orioles are beating the Blue Jays. It's shocking the world right now. It's 6-4 bottom of the 7th inning. And I even said, Denny, that you need to keep it up because I want you to beat the Blue Jays and help the Yankees extend their lead. Can we get a mercy rule in Major League Baseball, please? We were talking about the mercy rule going away in the NAIA World Series and how much we would love to have it come back. Though this year we really didn't need it because most of the games were pretty close. I bring this up, and I know I'm not the first. But, you know, we always joke about, Yadier Molina is pitching. Oh, look how funny this is. He's having a laugh with Albert Pujols. It happens too damn much anymore. MLB tried to change the rules. It has not slowed it down one bit. And I'm kind of tired of the position players on the mound. The Yankees faced a position player for the Chicago Cubs on Sunday, and Higashioka hit a home run off a pitch that was like 38 miles an hour or some crap. He just lobbing the stuff in there. It's become a carnival show that just is embarrassing for Major League Baseball. I looked up some information here, and then I want to get your take on my thought. But already 24 different position players have pitched this season, and they have appeared in 31 games. You go back to 2018, there were 75 position players that made an appearance, 90 of them in 2019. And obviously, so compare it to the 31, not the 24. It wasn't any different pitchers. You have that Brandon Phillips guy for Tampa Bay that I think made 37 appearances himself, which he can pitch all he wants because his approach is hilarious to me. There were 35 in 2020. Don't forget that was a 60-game season because of COVID, and there were 95 in 2021. Now there was a rule that was created in 2020, but was not put into place till this year because of with all the COVID stuff. They didn't want injuries to pitchers because you have possible smaller roster sizes with pitchers getting put on the COVID list and stuff. But now a position player cannot come in unless the deficit is 5 runs or fewer, which kind of bit the Dodgers as they tried to do that. They were losing to the Cincinnati Reds and wanted to put in position player. They're only losing by 5, so they were told no. That's not enough. I don't think you should be able to put a position player in unless you're down by double digits. And if that's the case, just call the damn game. You're talking about speeding up the pace of play. How about we just end the game when it's over? The Yankees crushed the Cubs so bad on Sunday, it wasn't even enjoyable for me to watch anymore. Yet they still had to play 6 more innings. And obviously the Cubs weren't trying as they were throwing position players out on the mound to just give up even more. Your thoughts, sir?
I mean, I think what they're trying to do is just save arms. I mean, I like the idea of them being more than 5 runs down if you're going to put a guy in there. But I would almost put it to the end of saying you can only put them in 8th or 9th inning. If that's the case you want to do, that's the only time. That's the only time you can put it in.
The only time they come in is that last inning.
Yeah, so I mean, they were all about it a couple of years ago. We have to speed the game up. We have to speed the game up to having a pitch clock, to having, and with what they were doing there. So, if they want to get these games in and what they're trying, 2 hours and 2 hours and 40 minutes is what they're trying to get these games in.
That'll never happen.
It won't. So I mean, I don't think we'll ever see a mercy rule to end the game.
I would love to see
it would be a good idea. But
I would love to see it more than these stupid position players going out there and throwing 35-mile-an-hour lob balls.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, Denny, sorry, you've got 2 on now in the bottom of the 6th inning. Chance for Toronto to tie it up.
Bottom of the 7th inning, but
yeah, bottom of 7. But yeah, I mean, I don't see it ever happening. But if they want to keep trying to speed things up, they've got to find something, whether or not you keep the guys in the box long enough or what. But I don't see it ever happening.
Yeah, whatever happened to that rule where the batter was supposed to stay in the box? They just stopped implementing that rule.
We did see it at NAIA. How many times I saw a home plate umpire that called a strike on the batter or something, and the batter would walk out, and he was already pointing him back in. Let's go back in. And I believe it was the Georgia Gwinnett game, and Mike and Denny can quote me on that, but I think it was the Georgia Gwinnett game. Those batters like to get out of the box and take their time.
Yeah, that Yankee game over the Cubs on Sunday, 18-4. It was 10-1 after 3 innings. Just okay. One team wins, we move on. Can we please just anything? That game was brutal to watch. Speaking of the Yankees, let's spend some time on the best team in baseball, shall we?
All right.
How about 44-16 through 60 games? They are on pace for 119 wins. I will take the under on 119 wins. That's fair to say. They're not going to stay on this pace the whole way, but we're happy with it right now. Over under 110 wins this year, though.
I'm thinking they're going to be right about 110. I'm going to take just slightly over. I don't think they make 119, but no. They will not break the record of the Mariners, though.
110 even then is too much. Depends on how many more times they play the Orioles. Sadly, they're about halfway done with the Orioles, I think. It's sadly, we would love to play the Orioles even more. We want to play the Cubs more. Can we play Chicago all the time? I just won't be able to watch half the games because they're so bad. No, 110 is even tough. They've been pretty lucky right now, injury-wise. Like Stanton and Donaldson had their issues. A couple of their pitchers have gone down here and there, but Judge has been healthy the whole time. But listen, this team, it just feels different. As a Yankee fan, watching home run only ball that they have done the last 5 or 6 years, they are first in team ERA. They are first in home runs. They are second in fielding percentage, which is something that they were like bottom 5 the last several years. So they feel like a more complete team, and they find weird ass ways to win. There was 7,000 men left on base in that first Cubs Yankees game that went to the 14th inning, where I think there was 35 men left on base between the two. If you go individually, they left like 70. It was just horrendous. That game was bad. But Yankees find a way to win that one and then go home run derby on Saturday, and then Sunday was an embarrassment. But you look through the annals of Major League Baseball, the Yankees are the 38th team to win at least 42 games in the first 60. They're only the 16th team to win 44 games in the first 60. And they do have the third best record in the wild card era after 60 games. MLB wins Orioles 26, A's 21. What are we talking about here? Are we talking right now? He's got to be talking about it. Yeah. The A's are the worst, for sure. we got argue. We got fighting in the comment section, and they threw me for a loop. But third best record in the wild card era, behind the Yankees in '98, where they went 46-14, and yes, those Seattle Mariners in 2001, where they went 47-13. But please tell me what happened to the Mariners that season.
Really? Do we have to go there?
I'm asking the question.
The playoffs happened. That's what happened.
Yep. And again, same thing could happen to New York. There's 100 games left in the regular season on top of the expanded playoffs with the extra playoff team. Though with one team getting a bye, Yankees are in a good spot so far to get that. Again, we're not even halfway through the season. It's a long ways to go. And the Yankees today started a ridiculous stretch where they will be playing 20 games in 20 days, including their next 4 series going up against the Rays, the Blue Jays, the Rays again, and then the Astros. Those are 3 pretty good teams. We'll see how it goes.
It'll be interesting to see how they can handle it, especially after how the Astros have been doing that year. Blue Jays kind of skating along right now. So, but
it's a pretty good start. And so far, they are up 2-0 on Tampa Bay as Garrett Cole had a great start, and King is now on the mound. The bullpen has been ridiculous. Chapman has been out for like a month, and I don't miss him. I really don't. Just the pitching, especially in the bullpen, has just been phenomenal right now for New York, and we'll see how that continues. They did lose Josh Donaldson today for the 1-game suspension that did get upheld over his comments to Tim Anderson. His fine was reduced, but I don't care about that.
I think $5,000, I think the fine was.
Yeah. Some injury news. Jack Flaherty for the Cardinals will make his debut this season tomorrow. Steven Strasburg made 1 start. He's back on the IL. He has a stress reaction of the ribs, is what it's called.
Just be done, Strasburg. Seriously, how many times have we said injury with this kid? Just be done.
Hey,
retire.
Stanton was the same way, and Stanton has been mostly healthy this year. It can happen. We'll see what happens. White Sox lose.
We'll never see a full season with Steven Strasburg ever.
Until he starts throwing 85 or something. Put him in the pen, maybe. White Sox lose Liam Hendriks with a right forearm strain. He's out for at least 2 weeks. Hyunjin Ryu for the Rays is out for the season. He'll have elbow surgery. That's not the best thing for Toronto. And then the sad one yesterday, and I love this player, but Ozzie Albies for the Braves breaks his left foot in the 5th inning, and he got moved to the 60-day IL this morning. He is so fun. He's one of those players that is just out there having a blast. I gut rolled at him yelling at one of his teammates who was still standing at third after the ball got behind the catcher and he didn't score on the play, and their little interaction was pretty fun. Him getting mic'd up on Sunday Night Baseball was great as well. He's probably one of my top 5 favorite non-Yankees to watch right now.
Yeah, it's sad news for him to go down, and so he reminds me of a lot of the old. I don't know where to. I think the newest one you can do is he's kind of that face now that Freddie Freeman was gone. I think he was taking that kind of role with that team, and now he won't be there. That's gonna be sad for Atlanta, and it just love the way he plays, and now he's done for, if not the season, 60. I mean, if not the season.
Tough blow for the Braves, who have really gotten things going now that Acuna has been got healthy, and now they're turning things around. They've won 12 in a row, looking for 13. There is possible news brewing in the St. Louis-Pittsburgh game that I was not aware of when I was going through the scores, because I wouldn't have thought it in a 9-1 game. But Miles Michaelis, through 6 innings, has a no-hitter, even though he's given up a run. So we are 2/3 of the way through a no-hitter, even though it is a 9-1 game, though he is at 81 pitches. So we will keep you up to date while he pitches in this game.
Might be one of those combined ones. So
yeah, and sadly they scored 9 runs. It would be great for him to throw a no-hitter and lose. That would just be great. Some other notes here. Yadi Molina had his 14,865th putout. Hopefully he has not kept every baseball from those putouts. But it sets a major league record, surpassing Pudge. So congratulations to Molina.
As a catcher. Now, you and I talked about that.
Yeah, first base is a putout machine.
But. And I want to share it because I just brought this up, and Denny's probably going to answer it, and for me, and I told you, the modern era is what we talk about when you and I are talking about most of the time. The modern name that we saw up there was number 4, and that's Eddie Murray with 21,265 for any player. A shout out to Denny for his Oriole, but you're welcome. But the other 3 that are the top of the list was a guy that played in 1888 to 1907, and that's Jake Beckley. And Beckley has 23,000. I mean, I think the closest person with putouts that is still currently playing right now is Albert Pujols, and he has 17,489 putouts.
And he might be staying there for the rest of his career, as he's a designated hitter now.
Exactly. So it's just crazy to see some of these numbers and what these guys put out. But you look at the list, a lot of first basemen, a ton of first basemen.
Oh, yeah.
Fred McGriff, Steve Garvey, Todd Helton, Andres Galarraga, Rafi Palmeiro. So
now, this is a stat that always gets to me. Does a catcher get credit with a putout for a strikeout?
That I would not know. I would think so.
You would think you'd have to have a catcher get almost 15,000 putouts.
It'd be interesting to know.
Denny will know. Denny knows those things. He's an official scorekeeper, so maybe he'll let us know here in a second. Yes, it does count.
All capitals. You notice he put that all capitals.
I was pretty sure, and obviously for it to be that high. So the pitcher get an assist? Does a strikeout count as an assist for the pitcher? Baseball rules are weird sometimes. Who's the best catcher of all time?
Yeah, that's exactly what I typed on there. Who is the best catcher of all time? And this could go a lot of...
No, it should be. It should be an assist. Put it in there.
So, we could throw this out to Tatko. We could throw it out to Denny. Who is the best catcher of all times? Depends on if we're talking defense, if you're talking... But if you have that name for me, it's probably...
who that is.
It's got to be probably Johnny Bench, part of that big red machine. That's who I would say.
An Oriole.
Yeah. So Terry Stein wasn't Steinbach an A?
Of course, this is where we're going. I can't say anything different because the correct answer to all of this is Yogi Berra.
No.
He has more catchphrases than most catchers have hits.
Well, he's got most tenured time with the Yankees. If
Yes.
you're going to catch all of his
And
managerial and
that
all
man
that.
has a World Series ring for all 10 digits on his two hands.
You notice I did not say Dan Wilson or anything like
Well,
that.
of
I
course,
went
'cause
Johnny
that's
Bench.
just sad. That would be embarrassing for you.
How about this one? And I don't know if the boys heard this one. How about 33-year-old NFL receiver Golden Tate signs with the Portland Angeles Lefties, a West Coast League summer league affiliate in the Washington area, and signed a remaining year contract to play his first love of baseball. He's supposed to get the start against the Bend Elks in center field tonight. What do you think of Golden Tate starting in center field?
That's cool to me. I think some of the younger players will be very excited to have him on the team. It's not Michael Jordan to the minor leagues kind of levels of importance to these kids, but I think that's a cool little moment, and especially with the summer league stuff. Why not go give it a try? It's like who went and started playing golf? There's a basketball player that's now a golfer. He went back to school to play golf, and I can't remember.
I remember
who
reading
it
that
was.
story. I remember
But
reading that
it's
story.
like that. It's like, why not? I mean, if you have eligibility somewhere, go give it a shot. There's 9 billion of these summer league teams. They can have a spot for a former NFLer, right?
J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith. There you go. It's just cool. Speaking of young talent, the MLB draft MLB draft starts on Sunday and it goes through Tuesday. So hopefully by next week's show, we'll have some good news about some LC players. Obviously, I didn't see any of them in any of these prospect lists of the top 200 and such. So, but I honestly, I don't even know how long the MLB draft is anymore. It used to be 700 rounds. Now I think it's only like 50. But it's a very long, windy draft. It was shorter there for all the COVID stuff, but I think this year's back to normal. We will see if there's any NAIA players that we saw at the World Series, especially any Warriors. And then hopefully we'll be able to talk about it on Tuesday. But the MLB draft is not one that I am interested at all in watching. I went through, Mike. So MLB.com has a list of 200, and I didn't go through all of the names, but I went through LSU Shreveport. I went through Georgia Gwinnett. Or maybe I didn't put up Georgia Gwinnett, but I went LSU Shreveport. I put in Southeastern, and I searched Tennessee Wesleyan, and none of those names popped up. But again, NAIA never gets recognized in there because, I mean, you have to think there's so many high school players that are going to be on the list, and then other than that is all NCAA players. So NAIA players usually drop down a bit for the most part, unless one really, really stands out. And I guess apparently on that list, it is not. Let's get into our power rankings. Who wants to go first? You want to go first?
Sure. I mean, mine is not a lot of change in the top four, other than I'm going to make a few Dodger fans mad, but I'm going to drop the Dodgers 2 spots this week. But for me, I'm going to say it. Go ahead there, Randy. Praise the Yankees. I mean, they are the best team right now, hands down.
They're on such a wild run. Yeah. Like I tried to avoid putting them in my top spot for the longest time, but the run that they have been on to start the season is pretty phenomenal.
Yep. So I'm going to leave the Yankees in the top spot. I do drop the Dodgers down to 4. I'm going to move the Astros up just because of the way they've been playing, how they played against the Mariners this week. They've got another decent looking run coming up. I think coming up here in next week is when the Yankees play the Astros. I think that's going to be probably the series of the week next week as we get to the weekend series with them. I'm going to keep the Mets right where they're at. Keep them in the number 3 spot. we're worried about injuries, but some good things. DeGrom is supposed to be coming back and with the team, so it'll be interesting to see what his presence can do. And I'm going to do it. I am going to move him up, even with the injury. How about the Atlanta Braves and what they are doing? 12 in a row, and probably going to be 13 in a row here shortly. So I moved those up into the number 5 spot.
Yeah, I can't fully blame you about the Atlanta Braves. I don't have them in my top 5 just yet. But obviously, you've won 12 in a row. They've really turned things around. Getting Acuna back has been very big. Like you said, losing Albies will sting a little bit, but they're finding ways to win. The only reason I did not is you go look at who they have played so far this month, and they have not lost yet in June. They lost their last couple games. They lost their last 3 of their last 4 to finish off May. Then they get into June. They have not lost. They won 1 game against the Diamondbacks, 4-game sweep against Colorado, 2 against Oakland, 4 against Pittsburgh, and now 1 working on 2 against Washington. They just haven't played anybody. Now, good teams do take care of the weaker teams, and this is great momentum for Atlanta to really get things going. And they have cut that lead by the Mets. Are now only 5.5 back, so it's very, very big for them. But I want to see what they do against bigger teams. They've got the Cubs next, and then they get the Giants and the Dodgers, the Phillies, which is a good division rival. So we'll see how they go. Just kind of like I said with the Yankees, their next 12-game stretch is pretty rough. The Braves will have those stretches, but momentum's a big thing in baseball, and that's very big for them. And I can't get upset that you have them 5th. I don't agree, but I can't get upset. My 5th team is the Toronto Blue Jays. Like you said, they've been so up and down this whole year, but Vlad is starting to get going. He is starting to hit some just ridiculous bombs. So I'm a big fan there. They are losing to Baltimore, though, and I have no problem with that. Baltimore, please beat Toronto.
Morneau just had a base hit off the left side and scored 1, so they've now cut it to a 6-5
Come
lead
on, Baltimore.
With only 1 out. So,
jeez, maybe I need to switch over to that game. They are through 7 now in St. Louis. Still no hits by Pittsburgh in the 9-1 game of all damn things. Baseball's weird. I'm going to switch over to the Toronto game. So give me 1 second because I have to mute it. There we go. I'm with you with Houston still being up there. I have them at 4, but they've kind of been up and down. But with the Angels really struggling and the Mariners not living up to their high expectations, they all of a sudden have a 7.5-game lead. The fact that Texas is right now 2nd place in that division is sad. And I think the rest of the AL West should be embarrassed of themselves. But I'll have Houston at 4. I also dropped the Dodgers another spot. They get swept by the Giants. They've lost 3 in a row. All teams are going to do that. I have no worries of the Dodgers making the playoffs, but all of a sudden they're tied with the Padres for the division lead right now. And things are just not flowing, I think, for Los Angeles. But they have so much talent on that team that I'm not too worried. I'm with you with the Mets. I bumped them up over Houston, but I have them at number 2. Getting their DeGrom back soon is only going to help that team, who is just putting up ridiculous numbers. 320 runs right now as a team that's most in the majors. The team's so great. And like you said with the Yankees, just the start they're on is just so impressive. And the facets that they're doing it with, starting pitching has been on such a ridiculous roll right now, and the bullpen behind them has been phenomenal. Bats coming up clutch at different times, minus that weird Cub game on Friday. I love the fact that they hit 6 home runs in their first 7 hits on Saturday. They had 7 hits in 5 innings, and 6 of them left the yard, including one by Giancarlo Stanton that if you've not seen it, go look it up. 109.9 off the bat. It hit off the second deck railing, or an ad that was just on the wall for the second deck. It hit it so hard it came back out on the field. So luckily it hit that sign instead of a noggin. We saw enough injuries at the NAIA World Series, so we didn't need any of that. My bottom 3, I don't know if they've changed. No, I've changed one. I put the Chicago Cubs at number 28, or the 3rd worst team That team was an embarrassment to watch this weekend. It was really, really bad. But I have Oakland at 29 and Kansas City still my bottom team at number 30. Listen, Cincinnati, their run of pretending to be not horrible has definitely ended, but they're not worse than those three teams.
Yeah, well, I kept them there because I just haven't seen it. So maybe after this next week, but I do have a change in mind. I had Detroit last week at 28. I'm going to move Oakland in there. Oakland just does not, even their fan base, there's just nothing there. So that's the only one I'm going to change around. I am keeping Kansas City at the dead bottom. And like you said, though, Cincinnati's starting to prove themselves.
No, they're not. They did for a little bit.
They're getting better. But how about
They're
Joey
competent.
Votto? Right. How about Joey Votto again? Joey Votto being Joey Votto, making another TikTok with a fan in the.
Haley and I just watched a video somebody made on YouTube about Joey Votto and his ups and downs and stuff. That is an interesting human being, and he might be my favorite non-Yankee ever. He's so funny. Player of the week. How about my sleeper MVP pick that I brought out in the spring?
That's what I left him there for you.
He has been absolutely phenomenal. He hit a home run yesterday against Seattle. Was it yesterday? 333. He had 5 home runs last week, not including the home run yesterday. 7 RBIs, 8 runs. A 1.512 OPS. Do not let that man get hot. He can crush everything when he gets in a roll, but he is one of those streaky players, and right now he's on that upswing.
And who Randy's talking about is Byron Buxton. He has just been unbelievable.
Oh yeah, I didn't say his name.
Yeah, he didn't say his name, but that's why I left him there because I remember
distracted by the Orioles trying to blow this damn game, Denny.
For me, I wanted to write it down. I did not. I wanted to say the Atlanta Braves as my players of the week, but I didn't do that. I went ahead. These teams that are playing Seattle, they've got one guy every time that has been blowing us up. And again, this year,
put the Atlanta Braves. I just put everyone facing Seattle.
Yeah,
I like that
better. Yordan Alvarez had another great week. The DH and just under 500, or just over 500, 7 RBIs and an OPS of 1.33. Just the kid is a great player.
Good catch, Baltimore. Going to the 9th inning. All right, go ahead. Series to watch, sir.
Yeah, series to watch for me has to be this weekend, and it's got to be the Milwaukee Brewers, who I had in my top last week of power rankings, taking on the New York Mets, who are there. That is or this week. It started tonight, Tuesday through Thursday. Watch out for the Brewers and the Mets.
Mets definitely watched right through the Brewers today, won that one 4-0 in their first game. I'm going to go with the weekend set. Yankees, again, in that wild stretch. Tampa Bay always causes them fits, but they play them this week and next week. They play the Blue Jays this weekend. I think that could have some fireworks to it. So give me the Yankees and Blue Jays. All right, sir. Part 2 of Who Am I?
So I'm going to make a statement, and it's not that I don't want you to get the answer, because I want you to get the answer.
Don't. You want to embarrass me. That's what you always did with the trivia.
So I'm going to say this, Mr. Tatko, Mr. Grubb, if you have a guess, please message me. Do not put it in the chat, because I want to see. I want to see it, because I think these two guys are going to get, because we already know Mike is a San Francisco area person, a Bay Area person, so he might get this. So all right, here we go. If you have a guess, so Denny and Mike, message me. We'll let you know. The first 3 clues before was I was born in San Francisco. My father was a sportscaster in the San Francisco area, and I was also a ball boy for the 49ers while I was growing up. Your next 3 clues, I accepted a scholarship to attend the University of Oregon. I got my first collegiate game start in the 3rd week of my sophomore year, but I did not put up big numbers in college. I was the 3rd round draft pick and got to be a backup to my childhood idol. Those are all you're getting. That's all you get. So this
So he
time,
has to have been a backup. Is this like a coach or something?
so the next set of group was I accepted a scholarship to attend University of Oregon. I got to
Denny Grubb
start.
sent me a message.
No, Denny, not to him, to me. I got to
Denny
start.
Grubb's guess is Dan Fouts.
I got to start my first collegiate game in the third week of my sophomore year, but I did not put up big numbers, and I was a third round, a draft pick, and got to be backup to my childhood idol.
Dan Fouts. According to Denny Grubb.
According to Denny Grubb, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Well, I hate to do it.
Thank God. Thank you, Danny. I would have never got there.
Denny
I was thinking
Grubb.
coach.
Denny Grubb, you were supposed to message me, not Randy Isbell. So I'm gonna take his win away. He can't have that win anymore.
Hey, I'm with the people. I work with the people.
Yeah. Happy birthday. So part of why that brought up happy birthday to Dan Fouts. He turned 71 this past week. So
I need to set a reminder to look up birthdays and deaths every week to narrow it down. I honestly, yeah, because we look the same. I mean, we're both as annoying, I'm sure.
So Randy, if I give you the rest of the stats, are you going to get it? My first 5 years were just average, but with coaching change to the team I played my entire career for, I started putting up MVP numbers. I started 171 of 181 games and had a record of 86 and 84, and I threw over 43,000 yards passing.
No, your hints are horrible.
Okay, well then I'll
Stop
get
picking old people.
So I'll get to the 8 o'clock one then. I was a 6-time Pro Bowler, AP Offensive Player of the Year. I was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1993 on my first year of eligibility. My number has been retired by my NFL team, and I have followed in my father's footsteps.
Listen, your hints need to start saying who the damn teams are.
Well, that makes it too easy.
No, obviously it does not, because you people before I was ever born, and that I've never watched play in my life. I honestly was thinking of coaches, and was like, because when you were saying he was a backup and didn't play that much, so I was going through like the Shanahans and stuff, because
all right,
they were all about San Francisco, but obviously that's not right.
So Denny Grubb, who was his childhood idol? You can type it in the chat this time, so we'll see if you're right.
God,
with that one, who was his childhood idol?
I wonder. While he's thinking about that, Cardinals 5 outs from no. Crazy. Switching back over. That's all I've been doing is switching back over. All right, we need somebody to be a judge. Who do you want to call out to be the judge today?
I don't know who this player is. John
Haddle?
No, it wasn't John Haddle.
Is he's not the hero?
No, I think he's still I think Mike is still trying to answer the trivia question that Denny blew out of the water.
All right, but our sports-related drafts kind of will go with an article that should be in the paper tomorrow, as long as I can get it finished once we're done. United, the man's on fire.
I will never doubt that man with whatever.
No, I've already said that. But I should have an article in the paper tomorrow about what local Warrior and Cougars are doing in the pro levels, whether it's MLB, minor leagues, or all these independent leagues, which has been kind of fun to go through. But as I was going through some of these players that I have on a list, it reminded me that minor league teams have a lot of fun with their team nicknames. They don't take it seriously, and they just enjoy it, which is why we always get frustrated when we get the Washington Commanders or the Cleveland Guardians. Have some fun with your names, people. So that's what we're doing. We are going to draft the best minor league affiliated team nickname. So they have to be affiliated with a major league team. So some of these independent ball teams that like Brock Efon is on are not eligible
Like the
for this draft.
like the lefty that Golden Tate is playing for, the lefties or the
Yes.
Bend Elks. There are no affiliation with anybody.
So those do not count. And actually, you picked a team, or I picked it. Yeah, you picked a team that LC Warrior is on right now.
Well,
So it
listen,
worked out, but not in your first round.
I wanted to go with a team that I actually got to watch, and now there is no team down there anymore, and that used to be the New Orleans Zephyrs, and they were affiliated with the Mets for a long time ago. And that's where I met Sandy Alomar and Fernando Tatis Sr. So they are not an affiliation, so that's why they don't make my list. But the Zephyrs, what's better than having the name the Zephyrs? Actually,
there's a lot. We have a lot of them. So Taco, Grub, Mom, whoever's listening, one of you gets to be the judge. Whoever announces a winner first.
I think they all chime in. Let them all chime in.
I'll chime in. We'll have a group vote.
And just make it say Robert.
8 innings now. 8 innings down for Miles Michaelis. He's throwing no hit ball. He is at 115 pitches. So we'll keep an eye on that. He is 3 outs away. If I judge, I win. Oh, great. Well, now we're going to have a 3-way tie, I think. That's how it's going to work. All right. First team and why?
Listen, the first team for me has to be one of those iconic teams. And I'm going to say the affiliate. And I know right away Denny's going to say, yep. And it goes back to a show that I used to watch. But the Detroit AAA affiliate, give me the Toledo Mud Hens. What is better than seeing Klinger wear a Toledo Mud Hens jersey on MASH? And that one of the teams that has been talked about forever and ever. If you have to say popular team in the minors, you have to think about the Mudhens. So give me Toledo.
Popular. I just want funny ass minor league team names. Mudhens work. That's a pretty great name. I haven't even started.
We're done.
I feel
it's
ganged
over.
up on.
We're done.
So that's the end of the show, apparently.
All right, your first round.
This is crap because our 3 possible judges right now are in that age range where they watched MASH.
So do I.
If it would rain right now, you would win. You guys are awesome. I'm having fun. All right. My first round pick is the Arizona Diamondbacks AA affiliate. How about I wish I played baseball better so I could have been on some of these teams. But how about the Amarillo Sod Poodles? Do you want to be a Sod Poodle, Hagen?
No, not anywhere close.
Do you know what a Sod Poodle is?
What would be a Sod Poodle?
Sod Poodle is a prairie dog. And a prairie dog doesn't sound very fun. So they named them the Sod Poodles.
I have
and
no
if
clue.
I know you're going to put these on our Facebook page with our logos, but I like the Amarillo Sod Poodles logo with the little prairie dog with the cowboy hat and the weed in his mouth. That's great.
We'll put them. I'll put them up here in just a couple of minutes, so then everybody
Sod
can see
Poodles.
The Sod Poodles. I have to pass with that one. That one's just who would want to be any part of a Sod Poodle?
Who wants to be an Arizona Diamondback? Let's just be fair.
Yeah. Denny Grubb's first pick, the Savannah Sandmats. I actually saw that one and I thought about that would be funny.
Can I just say, when I came up with this topic, I didn't realize there were so many of them that were so golden. We could have done 10 rounds.
I mean, there's all kinds of and I had, I'm thinking here, I do have the list. And I'll pull it up here in a minute and I'll show the list. But
so Robert,
for round 2,
your second pick, Connor Brogdon has bounced back and forth with this team. He's back up with the Phillies. Obviously former Warrior, also former Cougar, Damon Jones right now is struggling down there. He's down in Lehigh Valley as well. So
Give me the
some
Iron
local
Pigs.
talent here.
Yeah,
Yep.
give me the Iron Pigs, Lehigh Valley. I think it's because I love the logo. I mean, it was a cool logo to look at, and so, but you know, yes, a little bit of homerism there with some LC player, but yeah, give me the Iron Pigs. So I've got right now the Mud Hens and the Iron Pigs.
Well, you can have your Mud Pens and your Iron Pigs. My second pick is the Cleveland Guardians AA affiliate. By the way, AA I needed to start watching because, man, they come up with some fun names. The Cleveland Guardians AA affiliate is the Akron Rubber Ducks. If my daughter knew that this team existed, she would no longer root for the Bengals, even though there's no Bengals in baseball. Anytime I ask her who her favorite baseball team is, she tells me the Bengals because Chase is a Cincinnati Bengals fan. So now everything is Bengals to that child. But she would start rooting for the Akron Rubber Ducks, I believe.
Yeah.
So you can have your Iron Pigs and Mud Hens. Give me my Sod Poodles and Rubber Ducks.
So I'm staying with the animals, and I'm going with the Critter in the third round. Give me the San Francisco AA affiliate, the Richmond Flying Squirrels. The Flying Squirrels. Listen, I had to stay in the animal realm, or
we all did.
Well, we did do honorable mention. I did not do my honorable. So that is my third round pick. Give me the Richmond Flying.
You know, I should go look up the AA schedule right now. We could be missing a Flying Squirrels versus Rubber Ducks game right now. We're missing out on it. So my last pick, as far as our actual competition, we'll get to our honorable mention, which we put on our sheet too. Because again, we could have just kept going. Like you put honorable mention and I messaged you, there's too many. But we stuck to the one. But my last official pick is still in the AA, and it's the New York Mets affiliate. How about the Binghamton Rumble Ponies?
How can you do this segment with a straight face? Because they're all just funny.
How could you do play-by-play for these teams without joking the whole time?
Hence my honorable mention. Now coming to the plate for the Biscuits from Montgomery. Montgomery Biscuits is my honorable mention. So, yeah, my honorable mention goes to the Montgomery Biscuits of all teams.
By the way, I have a story. Anybody that knows who Wes Harrington is, this is years ago. MLB The Show started adding minor league teams to their thing called Road to the Show. And you created a character, which I've already complained about on this show. There's a Kyle Isbell. Let me name my stupid character Isbell, and so I don't have to be Randy Bell anymore. But he created a character, and he just created it off of different names that you could have on there for the announcers to say. So he created a guy, the fattest second baseman you've ever seen, and he called him Fatty Ham. That was his name, was Fatty Ham, and he got drafted by the Montgomery Biscuits. So Ham went to the Biscuits. It was great. My honorable mention is the Minnesota Single A affiliate. How about the Fort Myers Mighty Muscles? It used to be a different name, but the new owner changed it to the Mighty Muscles. The Lansing Lugnuts, that's pretty good. The Altoona Curve.
Well,
they're so great.
Here's some of these names that come up here, and we talked about it. The Sky Carp, the Bison, the Marooners, the Rapid Kernels. It's spelled like corn kernels.
NAIA teams out there, take note. I don't want to see 3 Warriors show up to the NAIA World Series anymore. Change your names to some of this stuff.
Listen,
you can have fun with it.
Here you go. Now coming to the plate for the Woodpeckers.
I'm down with watching the Woodpeckers.
How can you keep a straight face with some of these?
How about the Pensacola Blue Wahoos? I like that one. The Sugarland Space Cowboys. I almost picked that one.
Yeah. I mean, just seeing some of them.
Too many.
Yeah.
We could do a full 2 hour. Yeah.
Trash pandas.
If I would have saw the Trash Pandas, I would have picked them.
Yeah, Danny just got the trash.
Oh, hold
pandas.
on. I think that's wrong.
What's that?
Or is that really a team?
What? The Trash Pandas? It's right there. Rock City Trash Pandas.
So there's a guy I watch on YouTube that plays the old NCAA game, and he used to have a team called the Pandas, and now he has a team called the Rocket City something. So I combined, yeah, Denny Grubb had it right there too. So he's combined those two. It's been fantastic. All right, we need votes. Who won? Robert had the Toledo Mud Hens. He had the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. He had the Richmond Flying Squirrels, and we'll throw in the Montgomery Biscuits just for fun. And I had the Amarillo Sod Poodles, the Akron Rubber Ducks, the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, and the Fort Myers Mighty Muscles. Those are our minor league teams.
I just
These
don't
are
know
so
how you
good.
could be how you could be a play-by-play guy and not somehow faux pas on one of these things.
Now
I'm
batting
gonna
for the Mighty Muscles.
I am going to try and find me. I got on the Montgomery site. I'm gonna see if I can find me a Montgomery Biscuits baseball hat.
Oh, I'm sure there's lots out there. Now, Rumble Ponies are hard to beat. I'm liking where Denny's going. Trying to look at that logo. An interesting logo for the Rumble Ponies. We need more teams like this. We need NAI teams to change their names to these goofy things and just have fun with it. Denny
That's
votes
only one.
Randy.
That's only one vote. I know. I just don't. I don't know. How are you voting against an NAIA LC boy?
I just realized that the Akron Rubber Ducks logo, the side of the duck's face is a tire track, so it's a different kind of rubber.
Is that?
Oh, Taco votes Robert.
Hey, and I
Who
wonder
else
if
is out there? Anybody out there else want to throw in the tie-breaking vote? There's no pressure.
I'm hoping my mom and dad are listening and they can just throw me a sympathy vote, but so
These are fun. I threw it out there because I couldn't think of anything else, and then as we got going, I was like, "This is awesome." So we will wait to see if anybody else comments. If not, I win because I got the first vote. We'll see if we get a third vote or not. Miles Michaelis is back out on the mound. He's at 115 pitches, getting ready to start the 9th inning. So we'll keep you up to date on a possible no-hitter. I abstain. Switzerland, I tell you. All right, let's talk NBA just for a few minutes. Again, I watched a bit of the last 3 games, kind of off and on. There was a little bit more defense than other games that I've watched, so it was not terribly not entertaining. Sadly, most of the games, one team kind of ran away with it. I agree with Denny. There is 1 out now in St. Louis. He's 2 outs away.
Hey, just not to go back off of this for a second, though. I had to look as the Rocket City team took on the Biscuits tonight. Rocket City ended up winning 8-2 over the Biscuits. So
see, there you go. I really wish I would have saw Trash Pandas. Oh, the Orioles win too. The Yankees won. That's a great day. For sure. But no, I've watched a little bit of the NBA Finals, and it hasn't been terrible. Draymond Green might be the most annoying human being on the face of the earth. He had some play yesterday where he just wanted the basketball so bad, he just walked with the guy into his huddle just to try to cause some kind of a fight. I don't know what that guy's game plan is when he starts playing, but it's not to play basketball. He's just there to be annoying, I think. And he definitely does a good job of it. But the Warriors are up 3-2 and have a chance to win the championship on Thursday in Boston. First off, have you watched any of these games since the last time Zach tried to school us on this stuff? And do you think the Warriors close it out on Thursday?
I watched about the last 9 minutes of the game last night. By the time I got home and started doing things last night, I caught the last 4 minutes. For me, it was watching the rest of the team hold up Steph Curry. As Curry didn't put up the numbers he did in game number 4, but in game 5, he was well below his season average, but everybody else around him was holding him up. It was good. It was good to see that Klay Thompson had a couple of big shots there at the very end, 3-point. So I like their momentum going in. I still think it's probably going to be a 7-game series. I think Boston comes home and wins their what is it, Friday night when they play again. Friday night when
Thursday.
they play Thursday night.
They play Thursday. By the way, can we smush this together a little bit? Why are we taking 3 days off?
Yeah, makes no
I guess
sense.
2 days off. Let's go. Oh, it's gonna stay. That was hit pretty hard, but near the warning track. Carlson with the catch. 123 pitches in. Miles Michaelis is 1 out away from a no-hitter while giving up a run. That's pretty fun. I think that's all the NBA talk we got.
Yeah.
That's all I got in me. Stanley Cup Finals will be the Lightning and the Avalanche. Tampa Bay is looking for their 3rd straight title. The last time a NHL team won 3 straight Stanley Cups was all the way back in 1980 to 83. 4 straight for the New York Islanders. Colorado last won a Stanley Cup back in 2001. Who do you got there, sir?
I'm going to lean with the team that I took. I took Colorado early in the year. I'm going to stay with them just because of how little I have watched, and so I'm going to stay with them. But I'd like to see it go 7. So crossing my fingers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously NHL getting to a game 7 would be absolutely fantastic. I'm going to take Tampa Bay in 6, though. They battled with the Rangers and they kind of got behind, and then they kind of rolled those last couple games from the scores that I've seen. So I will take the Lightning there. I just want to touch on this for a few minutes, as it is now 1 strike away. But Zach Eastman reached out to the Tribune for some really, really cool news. And I messaged with Zach yesterday a little bit about it and wrote out a quick story. But Case Wynot is just a sophomore for the Lapwai Wildcats. They were down doing a summer basketball camp at the University of Idaho State, as that is grounded foul. And Lapwai went down there with a couple of 3A schools and a 4A school and a 5A school, and they crushed all 4 of the teams that they played. Right, they won all 4 games they played. The closest game was by 15, which is just not surprising by the Wildcats anymore. But Idaho State was so impressed with Case Wynot, even though he's just a sophomore. They've already offered him a D1 scholarship at just a sophomore. And obviously, as Zach Eastman mentioned to me, it's going to be the first of many for that kid. As that is hit into center, going back on it as a center fielder, and it's over his head. That's sad.
Ground rule double. Wow.
Bader out there in center just could not quite get to it. Michaelis goes up a hit with 129 pitches. Darn it. That would have been fun. Yeah, no, gone. So close, but no, very, very cool for Case Wynot. And like I mentioned, he's going to get so many more offers over the next couple of years. He was so impressive as a freshman on a team that was so good at Lapwai. Thoughts on Case Wynot and this news?
And listen, he's just a sophomore, like you were saying, but you and I have both seen it. We've talked to Zach so much. The biggest part for this whole group is seeing the buy-in that Zach has with all of his players, not just one where it has been Titus Year out or AJ Ellenwood. It is the entire team buying into this program, what Zach is doing with this program. You see them working out together in the gyms. You see them working out together out of the gym. You even see them having fun together away from the game, playing golf, staying active, doing different things. Even they did their senior fundraising, and you see the entire basketball team together, working together. It's all about the culture there in Lapwai. I don't care who you throw them against, whether you throw them against the best 5A in the state of Idaho, bring them over to Washington and throw them up against the best 3A, 4A, 3A or 4A in Washington. They are going to compete, and it's just because of the culture. And for a sophomore to get the nods the way he is, hats off to the skill level and what Zach is doing with all of these players, especially Case. And watching that boy get up and dunk the ball, highly impressive. If you have not seen any of that, go to Lapway Wildcats boys basketball Facebook page. Look at some of the videos of all of these teams and what they do with their workouts. Go check this out.
No, absolutely. What Zach Eastman's been doing with Lapway Wildcats has been absolutely fantastic. They have great players there, and it definitely helps. But I like the mindset that Eastman has been putting on with these Wildcats. He told me that the whole point of that trip was just to give them that college experience. They stayed in the dorms. They took the tour, and that's Zach's whole point, is to try to make it as much of a college experience at the high school level as possible, so then they can strive at that next level. And I think he's doing a phenomenal job. I've already told him, I've been joking with people at the Tribune that he's going to be the next head coach for Idaho Vandals if he wanted it. The Vandals would be stupid not to take him as their next head basketball coach if that job ever came available at the time that he was ready for it. He's going to go places for sure. And I know that Lapway's not going to be his last stop. He's going to go to the college level and coach as well. So very cool for Zach Eastman and his team. Very cool for Case. Why not? As very cool for us. We get to see Case for the next couple of years and see what other offers he is given along the way as well. Let's get into some NFL news as the Rams continue to spend money. We talked last week about them giving, now I'm blanking on his damn name, the Rams lineman.
Aaron
Help
Donald.
me, please. Yeah, Aaron Donald. Thank you. Gave him a bunch of money. Now they give Cooper Kupp a bunch of money. 3 years, $47 million extension, which compared to some of the other wide receivers, especially those that Jacksonville overpaid, seems like a steal.
I think so too. I mean, but I think Cooper has got the right mindset just following him with his social media accounts. He just wants another ring. He wants another championship with a team that they have built and what they're doing there in LA. So I love the idea. And I think they did get him at a discounted price, because if he would not have signed this extension, can you imagine how many phone calls his agent would be getting just to get a workout with him? It's phenomenal.
Obviously, it's going to put the Rams in a bit of a tight spot, as this is what happens when you win a Super Bowl. You pay your stars. They helped you win that Super Bowl, and then it's tough to build around them. But they did a good job. They got Allen Robinson in there to be the number 2 when they lost Robert Woods. And from everything I'm reading, they're doing a really good job of manipulating the salary cap with the way that they are placing the money. So they're not all hitting the big money all at the same time right now. So they're being very smart with it. And in an NFC right now that I feel is still really wide open, the Rams are putting themselves in a spot to be, I think, the favorites next year.
Yeah, 100%. I think they could easily be the team to watch and come back. We'll get to a couple of our predictions here in a minute, but one name that I was throwing back and forth on was I don't see Seattle being as dominant. I don't see San Francisco being as dominant at all. I think it is their division to run away with. And so I think that's what's going to happen with this ball club.
There are Seattle Seahawks fans that are predicting 10-7, and I don't understand it. You went 7-10 last year with half of a season with Russell Wilson, and it was not looking pretty with Geno Smith. And right now, Geno Smith's your number 1 guy. Drew Lock is your number 2. Neither of them are going to give you wins, and that team got worse. I don't get it.
At the soccer tournament this weekend, I had a couple people come up and ask me, because they knew, I plugged it on the R&R page and we talked about it. I had a couple come up to me and ask me my opinion of what Seattle should do and what they're hearing and every one of them said, we've got to find a quarterback.
Yeah.
And you look who's there.
You also need to find a head coach.
Yeah. It's his time to try to finally step down. But for them, they all wanted to try to find a quarterback, and for them to have the names fluttering around of Baker Mayfield, to have the name that Colin Kaepernick was trying to schedule a workout with him. I don't see that happening whatsoever with that ball club. But Geno Smith is not your answer. I don't think Drew Lock is your answer. You also have to keep Chris Carson healthy, which you have not done. So does that boil back to your strength and conditioning coaches? Does that go back to all of your coaches? Is it time to just clear house? Paul Allen, here we go. Clear house. Mm-hmm. It's time to bring in a whole new staff.
Yeah, we'll get into Seattle a bit more throughout the weeks as we start to do our quick previews of these teams and get ready for the season. But spoiler alert, they will be in fourth place in the NFC West in all of my predictions from here till the season starts. Carolina right now is trying to trade for Baker Mayfield. We've been waiting for Mayfield to move. We all expect him to move, though. As more allegations come out for Deshaun Watson, maybe it's smarter not to move him because you might have to use Baker Mayfield this year because NFL still has not come down with their ruling yet as far as a suspension for Deshaun Watson, but I expect it to happen, and I expect it to at least be 6 games, if not more. But is Carolina a good fit for Baker?
I think it would be an okay fit. I'd probably take a little bit of pressure off of McCaffrey, but I think that ball club has taken a couple of steps back in trying to rely so much on CM that it's been the CM show for the last couple of years. So I think it would be a good move. Does it happen? I doubt it.
If not Carolina, though, where? Other than Seattle, which I want so bad. Because Teresa, David Doofenberg's wife, would scream so loud you could hear her on their show.
Well, what's funny is you find a lot of people that I would be, I hate to say it, 100% thinking about this, but how many people are mumbling under their breath to bring him in? He is young, yes. Has he had a little bit of issues? Well, might as well throw some more issues into Seattle's way. But Seattle needs so much more stuff. It's not just about the quarterback. It is also about their running back. They've lost on the defense over the last couple of years, and I think they've lost on the coaching side of it. They need to. It's going to be a major overhaul, and I hate to say that to all the Seattle fans out there, but it's coming down to that. It's time for a major overhaul if you're a Hawks fan.
I agree. Speaking of Deshaun Watson, though, that we mentioned just a minute ago, he does show up to the Cleveland Browns mandatory mini camp. He had a press conference today. I watched a few minutes of it, and I heard 0 football questions, which was not surprising. It was all about his legal battles. Is Watson just going to be a distraction until he gets suspended?
I think it's going to be. That's what I hate saying it. That's what those beat reporters in Cleveland want to hear. Even some of these guys on NFL Network, that's what they want to hear. They want to stir up a little bit of drama. Want to be that person that's going to break this. And I think that's what they're going to continue to do, is to get under his skin so much that NFL is going to have to make a big play to have that happen.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how many games he's even going to play this year. Single digits, I think, is where I'm leaning. Jason Garrett's going to replace Drew Brees on NBC Sunday Night Football. Richard Sherman joins the Thursday Night Football coverage, though he has not put away ideas of coming back to play. So some broadcaster changes. We'll see how both of those guys do in their new roles. I think Richard Sherman will be pretty good on Thursday Night Football. There's times where he drives me absolutely nuts, but he's a very smart, intelligent person and knows the game very well. And it's always nice to get, I think it's better to get a defensive mindset as your color guy over a quarterback or something as they read the field just as much. And I think it'll work out pretty good there for that new Amazon situation. Like I said, we're going to do some previews throughout and some predictions throughout the summer just to kind of keep NFL around, but not touch on it too much. This week, we're going to do the team that made the playoffs last year that we do not think will make it this upcoming season, and vice versa. The team that did not make the playoffs that we think will make the playoffs. And I'm going to throw you a curveball, Robert, because I looked at our picks. We went all AFC, so I'm going to need an NFC prediction on these as well, because we went very much AFC. So on the AFC, for me, the team that made the playoffs that will miss the playoffs is very simple. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Absolutely. I mean, they lose Big Ben. Not that he was fantastic, and it'll be a slight rebuild. Najee Harris, I think, will keep them in games, and their defense isn't terrible. Their offensive line was getting better. But you look at one team that made the playoffs and had the biggest downfall during the offseason, it's the Steelers. What about you?
I'm going to go the other direction. I am going.
I love that we're still getting minor league teams.
Yes.
In the comments.
Megan's going to bring.
We do need to have a full show.
Megan needs to bring me the win. Do I need to put that picture back up there?
Yeah, put it back up for Megan. Let Megan be the deciding vote.
And when you know, I pulled it off. So let me. So I'll answer your question here really quick. The one that I see that will not make it is Las Vegas. They just made absolutely no moves over the time, and so I think they're going to be the one that does not make the playoffs. So Megan,
good moves. Does Devontae Adams not count as a move?
I that's the only thing they did do. As far as everything else, that is it. All right, Megan, here we go. You are the deciding vote, young lady, and I know that you're you're going to take me. So we were drafting the best minor league baseball team names, and yeah, I think we made a move. We hired a new coach. Good, Mike. Best minor league baseball team name. I went with Toledo Mud Hens, the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, the Richmond Flying Squirrels, and my honorable mention was the Montgomery Biscuits. Randy went with the Amarillo Sod Poodles, the Akron Rubber Ducks, and the it's not Birmingham, it's the Bringington Rumble Ponies. And his honorable mention was the Fort Myers Mussels. So you can't count the bottom two. Can't count these two here, but let us know who wins. And this side right here, Megan, is the one that you want to vote for. This one. Not trying to influence your pick whatsoever, but at all.
He's trying to get his second win. He's going to catch you in wins. While we wait for that, how about your non-playoff team that will make the playoffs this year?
I'm playing Homer. They're going to sign him. They're going to get a big deal done with Lamar Jackson. J.K. Dobbins is going to be back from injury. Give me the Baltimore Ravens. They will make the playoffs.
Would signing Lamar Jackson be that great of a thing?
I think so. It'll take a lot of the pressure off of all of the hype and everything going on around in Baltimore right now. I think that's the biggest thing they need to take care of.
For me, it was a simple one as well. They missed the playoffs by half a game, and they missed it by losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But they did get Matt Ryan. So, yay, Megan. The Rubber Ducks. You got to go with the Akron Rubber Ducks. Megan. The Grubs, both the Grubs picked me, and Taco did pick you. So, it's still a win for me. So, thank you to the Grub family.
That's
this
harsh.
Victory.
That's harsh.
There you go. Still got it. 2 in a row. 2 weeks in a row. Got the win.
There you
go. For me, it's the Indianapolis Colts. They get Matt Ryan. They were right on the edge with Carson Wentz. I think Ryan is it's actually Pickle. Matt Ryan's an upgrade from Carson Wentz. The AFC South is abysmal. So I do think the Colts are going to win that division. How about the NFC? Give me a team that made the playoffs that won't.
I think it's going to be San Francisco. I think they just until they finally decide 100% who that quarterback is going to be, if it's Trey Lance's team or what they finally decide. And I think they need a little help in the running back situation too. So I think they are on the outside looking in, like we both took. We both think LA is going to be hands down that team.
Hey, we got our hockey talk in. It was longer than the NBA talk, which neither of those talks are very long. How about I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys. Get them out. Get them out of here. I'm not going to say it. I think the Washington Commanders are going to take a step forward, and Dallas is going to continue to just be the Dallas Cowboys. How about the team that didn't make the playoffs that is going to make it? That's all right.
You just said it. Give me
Give
me
my
Washington.
team.
I'm going Washington. I like what they're gonna do. I don't see Dallas being as strong. I don't see New York being there. I think they're gonna be good enough to get in there.
I have to look. That was my team, and you took it right under my nose. How about the Minnesota Vikings? I don't believe it, but
I don't either.
They were good for a while. Last year, not so much. I don't see the Saints moving up. Everyone in the NFC West that's good made the playoffs last year. Seattle definitely is not going to do that. Atlanta's not taking the step forward. Neither is Carolina. Chicago and Detroit are not. Giants are not. You took Washington, so that leaves me Minnesota. That's that's all I got. So there you go. Those are our picks for the teams that made the playoffs that won't, and the teams that won't or did not make the playoffs and will. College World Series is going to get started shortly. They're down to 8 teams. 4 of them are in the SEC. So I guess SEC doesn't just dominate football. They dominate baseball as well. But in the top bracket, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Texas, and Notre Dame. Bracket 2, Stanford, Arkansas, Auburn, and Ole Miss. Who do you got?
Oh, man. I think Stanford. I mean, give me Stanford. I think they're going to be one of those teams, and I am going against Ole Miss, especially with family members down south that are huge Ole Miss fans. On Denise's side of the family, that might be striking up a little bit of interesting fire and talk with those two. So I think it might boil down to those two in the final, but I'm going to lean. Give me the West Coast team. Give me Stanford.
I'm going to say Texas. They've been up there all year. Get revenge for the softball team and give them the win. Speaking of that, Oklahoma did win the softball World Series as they crushed Texas in the finals. They won 16-1 and 10-5. Not surprising, as Texas was kind of a surprise team to make it in there. So the Sooners win that whole thing. AFL, as we get to the sports that don't get enough airtime. Fremantle defeated Hawthorne 95-82. Hawthorne kept it close. That's as far as I can say. The goal of the year was in this game. I'll show you. I'm going to pull up the highlight and get us a strike on YouTube because of it, probably. I would say demonetized, but we're not monetized anyways. Nobody watches this on YouTube, so it doesn't bother me. Collingwood defeated Melbourne 82-56. What is going on with Melbourne? Undefeated forever. Now they've lost 4 straight.
Yeah, it's interesting to see where that team has just, it's almost like they've forgotten how to play the game. And to see Collingwood dominate as much as they did in this game, that was the game I was looking forward to watching this week. And it just wasn't as close as what I thought it was going to be.
And Brisbane defeated St. Kilda 78-57. Brisbane now is your top team in Aussie rules football. And here, I'll show you this goal that went up against the Hawks. Late in this game, the Hawks down by a goal, and it looks like they're going to stop this guy, and he just kicks it. Completely held, just boots it. Just the most awkward-looking thing ever, but that is what keeps Hawthorne out of the game. Just gross to see. Just
with the inside of his right foot.
While getting tackled, he has the presence of mind just to push it across. By the way, watching Aussie Rules and talking about innovations, when are we going to get a logo or a sponsorship on the NFL football? because there's a McDonald's logo on the Sherry's. But
It won't be much longer. I don't think it'll be sooner than you think. Sooner than you think.
Megan, you want in this world. Aussie rules football is the way to go.
I would
Aussie rules
agree.
Football is a fantastic sport. Hawthorne is on bye. Thank God they won't lose. Maybe they will. Who knows? But your two TV show channels or games, that's the word I'm looking for, TV games this week, are both once again at the wee hours of the morning. So DVR these things. Friday at 2:50 a.m. on Fox Sports 2 at St. Kilda and Essendon. And on Fox Sports 1 on Saturday at 2:25 a.m. it's GWS and Western. And then your Geelong Cats take on West Coast Friday at 11:35 p.m.
Yep, 100%.
After your bye week, you can come back.
Got to come back and win.
Go to NASCAR. Congratulations to Daniel Suarez for his first Cup win. And I have to say, I am a huge fan of his celebration. I don't know if you have seen this yet. He wins at Sonoma, the road course. There was weird things going on at that track. Chase Elliott had a pit road penalty. Kyle Larson left without a tire and had to go the entire lap at this road course without his right front tire just to get back. A lot of people driving in the dirt and crazy wrecks going on all over the place. But Daniel Suarez gets his first win. Of Mexican descent, is given a taco piñata, and he smashes it down. There's a driver that smashes a watermelon. Yeah, they joked on the TV broadcast that they like the piñata more because they can actually eat what comes out instead of the watermelon splashed all over the racetrack. So congratulations to Daniel Suarez for the win. Chris Buescher finished second. Michael McDowell finished third. NASCAR is off for the week. If you care, they will not be racing.
Yeah, that's crazy. We jumped to PBA really quick as we did have the two types of King of the Lanes. Now we have the family edition, which happened earlier in the week. And who was holding that trophy was the Troops, and they ended up losing in day one. But Ryan and Chris Barnes, let me tell you, the couple of younger kids, Jordan Malott, Ryan Barnes, even looking at Caden Russell. The PBA Younger Tour is looking unbelievable. Also, yes. Alyssa Ballard, unbelievable. Long story short, the women win it. They're talking about, what do we do? Do we change it to Queens of the Family Edition, as Carolyn Doran Ballard and Alyssa Ballard ends up winning and knocking off Ryan and Chris Barnes, 248, 217. Both of those girls just looked unbelievable throwing the ball against Barnes. And so you look at the main King of the Lanes, Kyle Troop is now your new winner there, as Jason
red
Sterner.
Hot lately.
Yeah, he has been red hot. Hence my question to you: if he had not had that slow start, is his name in Bowler of the Year category with Jason Belmonte and Anthony Simonson?
It would have been in contention, but there was no catching Jason Belmonte as most years. The man won 5 more tournaments this year, and he only competes in maybe 10, if that. He's just been so dominant. Even now, he competes far less than any of these other bowlers because obviously he lives in Australia, and he comes over for just stints of time and just dominates while he's here. While Kyle Troop is a great story, and he's always fun to watch, and he had a great end of his PBA season, that he is no Bowler of the Year.
Yeah. PBA League starts in the first week of July, so we're a couple weeks out with that. Looking forward to that. We'll talk a little bit more about that here next week. The PGA was happening in Canada.
You can't even say PGA anymore. Just golf has happened.
Yeah. Golf is happening. We'll talk a little bit about that. Rory McIlroy shoots a huge 62, 8 under on Sunday to beat out Tony Finau. And upcoming tournament, they're heading to Boston, the Boston area. They're going to take on, and it is U.S. Open time.
My favorite tournament.
Lots
favorite
of
tournament every year.
Yeah, lots of conversations going on. First of all, let's talk about Joel Damon. Joel Damon does get into that. He will be teeing off at 5:35 on Thursday morning.
I will not be watching his first round.
He play with
Spoilers.
Lanto Griffin and Genichiro Kozuma. If I hope I didn't kill that name. They will tee off at 5:35 a.m. So you can catch that on, I believe it's on ESPN Plus, where you will be able to see that one.
And I think on Friday they're like 11 something. I'll be watching that one.
Crazy. So with that all being said, how about all the news and the questions to Rory McIlroy, being questioned about all the players going to the LIV tournament, out of the Saudi-based tournament. He was quoted into saying that the younger players took the easy way out to make money. How do you feel about that comment?
I don't disagree. I'm not a big fan of all the Saudi stuff. I'm the same way. I'm a wrestling fan. WWE going to Saudi always drives me nuts. But sometimes you get that many zeros pointed at you. Like Denny Grubb says, $4 million payday is enough said.
Mm-hmm.
While they did take the easy way out, if I was that talented enough where Saudi said, here's $4 million, you know what? I'm taking the easy way out.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I can't blame them.
So now, with that being said, you will see Phil Mickelson this weekend, supposed to be playing, has a tee time. Bryson DeChambeau has a tee time this weekend for the U.S. Open, but it's already said he will play in Portland in 2 weeks and LIV's second tournament over here, which they will redraft all that. Louis Oosthuizen also has a tee time in the books for the U.S. Open. It will be an interesting conversation the next 2 days.
They said they were going to suspend all these players that played in the LIV stuff. They went and played in the LIV stuff, and they went, U.S. Open, we're not going to mess with it.
It'll be interesting to see if they hold up on it. For Denny saying that 100%, Charles Schwartzel shoots 7 under in the individual contest, wins $4 million. His team ended up first place. He wins another $750,000 along with his team. His team won by 14 strokes.
So super close and competitive.
Nowhere close. So it'll be interesting. Their next stop again is in Portland, June 30th through July 2nd.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this LIV golf thing, and I probably won't be watching it that much. But again, I'm not going to condemn anyone for doing it. Even if you're a top pro, I'm sure Bryson DeChambeau is getting even more money just to go play. Trying to get the bigger names in there. Phil Mickelson, I know, got paid a buttload of money to go over there.
Finished 35th, 34th this week.
He's just not a good golfer anymore. I mean, on that level, but he's still making a ridiculous amount of money just for his name alone. And again, you can't really blame him for it. So there you go. I'll be watching more of the U.S. Open, and we'll get into that. NBA Finals. Game 6 is Thursday. Stanley Cup Finals starts tomorrow. You have the Avalanche. I have the Lightning in that one. MLB Draft starts on Sunday. We'll have all of that recap, all of that stuff, and much more in our show next week. So for right now, I'd like to thank Denny and Megan Grubb and Mike Taco and my mom for all chiming in throughout the show. And special shout out to the Grubb family for picking the correct person in our draft, where I am now at win number 13. I'm at 13. You're at 7. Denny Grubb's still at 1, even though he was trying his best to get win number 2 today. We will be back next week with a bunch going on, as we said, plus Robert's turn to pick the sports-related draft. And we will have even more summer shenanigans at this point. I think that's all it is. As I come into the show so unprepared, and then 2 hours later I go, I had so much more I wanted to talk about.
Exactly.
And that's just how it works.
Well, tonight's show is being brought to you by the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Go check out their games. You have to say this was probably one of the better drafts that we've had, but
I might just do. We might just do a 2-hour show on these minor league schools or minor league nicknames. We could have a lot of fun. We could have a full 64 team draft, like a bracket style battle with some of these crazy nicknames. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But so I'm happy we came up with it. I'm happy our 86th episode went by pretty smoothly. We're getting closer and closer to episode 100. And again, we're just going to continue goofing around and having some fun on our summer shows and try things that work and try things that don't. And luckily for me, your Who Am I thing worked out beautifully because Denny Grubb messaged me instead of you.
I don't
That was
understand.
fantastic.
I don't understand.
Please, once again, I offer a please and a beg that you pick somebody that played when I was alive. That's all
He
I
did
ask.
play.
When I was alive and paying attention, when I was into sports, not when I was like 4, please. And I'm old, man. I've seen a lot of sports in my day, and you keep picking all these old fogies that are before me. But that's it. We're out of here. That's Robert. I'm Randy. We're out.